There is no safe way to deal with there's 3 or 4 vicious dogs attacking a person, and you're going to try to save that person's life and save them from any more physical damage. The time to think about how to handle this is now. I certainly hope whoever's watching this is not currently being mauled by vicious animals. The time to think about how you would address this is now. Do not let the first time you think about how you'd handle this be when you come around a corner and see some poor guy getting torn apart by dogs.
This is a serious situation. We've seen the video, police officers shooting pit bulls that are attacking en masse a hapless person in the street. And it always comes up like, what should we do against vicious animals? In this situation, the cop is out there waiting till he gets a clear shot, which you would have to do. In that situation, I'm going to ask, what would Ed Combs do?
Like you said, the most important part is to not have the worst part of this guy's day be tied with what you're about to do with him. Like, see, I was getting attacked by all these dogs, and then this guy came up and shot me in the shoulder. Like, you want to be sure that you are not putting bullets in anything that doesn't need to get shot. And this often, from the guys that I've talked to who've had to do things like this often comes down to contact shots with the dogs or with whatever it is that's attacking this person. And you have to make that snap decision of which one can I get a clear shot on first, take that shot. And then there's the question of, do we do rooming house rules where everybody gets some before you go back to the first one, or do we concentrate on one until it's off of this guy? But it's a nightmare scenario, mostly for the guy who's being mauled to death by dogs. But it's very, 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 very difficult.
In that situation, it is definitely imminent threat of death or great bodily harm.
Oh, yes, it is.
And we can start the argument about should pit bulls be allowed in cities or things like that. And honestly, we can't call them pit bulls anymore. They're terrier mixes. They're a terrier. Okay. In that situation, there's lots of people around. You can see this video, people hollering, shoot the dogs, do something. A guy walks into the video with a rake and see if he can help out with that. We see a lady try to help out and the dog turns on her. This is bad all around. And I like what you said, contact shots. How dangerous is it to get that close, to the pit bull? And also know your target and beyond. What you're right. You don't want to shoot the poor man who's, now his legs are shredded and he's got a bullet in him.
We ask about how close do you want to get? That sounds dangerous. We're past the point of having a safe way to deal with this. Yeah. There is no safe way to deal with there's 3 or 4 vicious dogs attacking a person, and you're going to try to save that person's life and save them from any more physical damage. So, people get tired of me saying this, but the time to think about how to handle this is now. I certainly hope whoever's watching this is not currently being mauled by vicious animals. The time to think about how you would address this is now. While you have time for, would I do this? Or should it be does this mean I should carry a revolver if I have to do contact shots? Because if I'm using an auto, then it might, think about that now. Do not let the first time you think about how you'd handle this be when you come around a corner and see some poor guy getting torn apart by dogs.
Yeah. And again, this is a personal question. If you want to get involved with this, I don't know that I could stand by and watch somebody, especially if it was a child, getting just torn up by a dog, and me say to myself, well, what kind of trouble am I going to get into if this goes badly? I'm going to have to try to get in there and do something. That's just me personally. And you're right. What's my plan going to be? I want to be as close as possible to those dogs, shooting downward, not at the person who's getting mauled. That's what's going through my head right now, is get right in there and start shooting, honestly, as many rounds as I can in each dog.
I learned a long time ago, just like being scared isn't a plan, I'm going to help isn't a plan.
Right.
What's the plan? What are we doing specifically?
Yeah.
Don't say I'm going to help and then run in there. And unfortunately, in a lot of these videos, you see people going in and trying to get the dogs off of the person without injuring the dogs. And I get it. Humans and dogs love each other. There is no other animal that we are closer with than dog. But
in this point, you're right. Don't try to not hurt the dog. The dog is hurting someone else. The dog needs to be stopped by any means possible.
It is, in fact, not a good boy.
Yeah.
It is a bad dog.
Yeah.
And there's nothing much we can do about that.
And oddly enough, this is a story that we're covering on the USCCA channel, on the YouTube channel. We had a USCCA member in a very similar situation. Pit bulls escaped a yard, cornered his nephew. The kid had to climb up on a boat or into a boat to get away from these dogs. And the USCCA member pulled the gun, but didn't have to fire it. And we're going to be telling that story. So people should be subscribing to the channel to see what's going on with that. Did you know we have a secret gun giveaway going on right now? You can enter for free, but it ends really soon. Just click the link in the description below to reveal which brand new gun you could win.